I can already see myself being crucified by some people, but what you just witnessed was the trailer for Battlefield 4 Open Beta on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. And to this day, I still think it's one of the best trailers EA has ever released. And right there, I was already excited. Now you might be thinking, what the hell I'm smoking and why? 8 years ago, when Battlefield 4 was released, I already moved from PlayStation 3 to PC, and I experienced the ultimate so-called Battlefield experience. 64-player servers, more objectives, more vehicles, performance is miles better than your typical 7th generation consoles, but deep down, something wasn't right, and nothing has changed since then, and it looks like Battlefield 2042 is no different. When it comes to Battlefield games, each of them have this specific formula that only DICE can replicate. Yes, the formula was replicated and modified many times, and they are pretty much different games entirely. But deep down, the heart and soul of each Battlefield game that is basically the same. There's a reason why multiple studios tried and somewhat failed to replicate that experience. It's a very hard thing to do, and only DICE can do that. Can't really explain the feeling to anyone that has played the Battlefield game on a more religious level, and deep down you know in your heart when you pick up a controller and play a Battlefield game. You will know instantly what you're playing regardless of the platform. But if I indeed need to explain Battlefield, I will use some analogies here. Let's look at Call of Duty for example. Call of Duty is all about giving you a quick fix, smaller maps, more compact gameplay, capture this objective and kill some people, 10 minutes of running and shooting, thank you for playing, have a good day. It's designed to be a very casual and laid back experience for any player, regardless of their skill level. No, I'm not talking about that, go watch my other video, thank you. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it has a specific design idea behind it. And it works. Battlefield is a bit more complicated than Call of Duty. Call of Duty, not Warzone, there's a difference, because it has healing, reviving, repairing, vehicles, bigger maps, more complicated destruction, more unified squad gameplay and more. And the best way I could describe a Battlefield match is like a football match, or soccer for you Americans. Every player has a different role on the field, and they have to help the team to win the game by providing their individual unique skills. Like some players in football are better strikers or defenders, some players in Battlefield are better infantry or vehicle players, because each player is unique in their own way, and they have to work together to win the game. If they don't, the team with the better teamwork will naturally win the game, unless the losing team has some sort of monster player that can carry the whole team on their back. Rarely happens, but it does happen. Football has 22 players on the field, and Conquest Small on Xbox 360 has 24 players on the server. So there's a reason why I picked the football analogy for this. And what will happen if you add more players on the field? Sure, you can increase the football pitch size, but will it make it better? Will it make it more fun? This is the problem I have with Battlefield. So the reason why this Xbox 360 trailer got me excited and pushed me over the edge in terms of hype, it's because that trailer was a pure representation of Battlefield formula that we all love. Yes, Battlefield 4 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, performance-wise was really terrible. Yes, we know that. 24-player servers, barely stable 30 FPS, 720p resolution, it's probably even lower. Maps were clearly lacking the detail comparing to PC. It's actually amazing how they even managed to make this game run on those consoles. I mean, like, what? But ignoring all that, it's one of the best Battlefield experiences you could ever get, unintentionally. And it's all because the main concern for these consoles was to make the gameplay fun enough with the limitations they had. It wasn't about taking down skyscrapers or 64-player madness or pretty graphics or some other gimmicks that a AAA publisher tried to sell you with each new game. Don't get me wrong, those are nice features to have in a video game that you pay $60. You're paying for premium content after all. But we're finally hitting that stage with AAA shooters, if we haven't already, that it's not about the gameplay anymore, but what kind of features we can market to our new customers. 64 players? Nah, it's all about 128 players. Why? Because Call of Duty Warzone has 150. Classes? No. It's all about heroes now. We call them specialists, and they have special abilities. Why? Because Apex, Overwatch and Call of Duty and multiple other games have them. Marketing department looked at the data and they think heroes are the main reason why people spend their hard-earned money on skins. So every fucking video game needs to have some sort of hero system. Call of Duty Vanguard doesn't even have factions. In a World War II game, are you fucking kidding me? And speaking of Call of Duty, have you heard that there's destruction now? Or how every game now needs to have some sort of shield mechanic? Or remember when every game had their own Battle Royale mode? Don't get me wrong, those are not bad things to have, but when every video game is doing it, suddenly it doesn't matter what kind of game you're playing, as they all have similar features that is pretty much expected from every game now. But in the current climate, it's literally about who can put the most gimmicks into a game and create a clickbait marketing term to sell your game. Levolution, more ways to play, next-gen technology, make the character your own, star cards, express yourself, fish AI, look, we can simulate win now. Some of them might be cool features, but is your game actually fun and worth $60? And Battlefield has been guilty throwing gimmicks at their games, and then developers have to figure out how to implement them, to make it somewhat fun. And majority of the time, gimmicks will remain gimmicks. Look at Battlefield 2042 and the situation with the specialists. There will be 10 specialists on launch, and both factions can use those specialists. They have special abilities and they are very unique from each other. So let's do the math. So you not only increase the player count from 64 to 128 players, you literally give us only 10 characters per whole server for each faction. We're looking at the possibility of 64 Irish players fighting against other 64 Irish players. And apparently, I have to believe that those are two different factions? Okay, do these specialists make the game more fun? Actually no, it feels like a gimmick, and it is. Now you might be wondering, what about abilities? We kinda need those, right? Well, you don't need specialists to have abilities. Any good game design would distribute those abilities around each class, while keeping your unique look of each class and faction. On top of that, you could sell individual skins for each class, while still keeping your advanced character customization. You can sell Battle Pass content just fine, you don't need specialists for that. I don't know why they haven't done that, but welcome to AAA game development, where common sense and good game design word jack shit to executives. Yeah, majority of these decisions are made by executives, not developers, keep that in mind. Look at World War III, an indie game is actually doing that. Who knew? So the reason why I was even excited for that Battlefield 4 Xbox 360 trailer is because the consoles had no room to be gimmicky. It was all about making sure the game actually runs on those consoles, and it's actually somewhat fun. Yeah, it ran like shit sometimes, but the gameplay was there. It was the most purest Battlefield gameplay you could ever experience. When Battlefield 4 Open Beta was live on PlayStation 3 and the new Obliteration game mode was out, I was having so much fun I just couldn't contain myself. I didn't care about 24-player servers, I didn't care about extremely downgraded graphics, because the gameplay was actually fun. All I experienced was peak Battlefield. Players reviving each other, repairing tanks, throwing ammo and health, playing the objective, just two teams going ham on each other and trying to win the game. It was satisfying as fuck. Gunplay was no different on PS3 comparing to PS4. Movement was the same, maps were the same, a bit more compact and smaller, but the same, less throwaway objectives and more focused level design. Yes, it wasn't perfect, of course, but even though the game was much smaller on those consoles comparing to PC or next-gen consoles, it was a more personal experience. It still had the soul and heart of a Battlefield game. You felt you can make a good play and turn the game around. Your personal skill mattered and it felt good. Every time you kill a tank, it meant something. That means you can push the objective and turn the game around. Every time you killed a good pilot, you made a difference, as that pilot can't harass your teammates who are trying to capture the objective. Every revive helped your team. Every kill gave you more chances to win the game, or make a cheeky flank and switch the front lines upside down. Everything you did mattered, because your individual contributions determined if you win the game or not. Yes, you can do that on PC, but when you have a triple number of players defending the same flag, more ground to cover, or more vehicles to fight, what exactly you're achieving here as a player? You're just a random particle colliding with other random particles, and whoever has more players on the flag wins the game. You're not doing anything important that determines the outcome of the game, and it ruins other good gameplay mechanics just because certain maps can't even accommodate 64 players in the first place. Hence why I was extremely disappointed when Battlefield 1 came out and it was only on next-gen consoles. DICE never included Conquest Small game mode, it was only Conquest Large, or 64-player regular matches. They claimed because they were not limited by old generation console technology, but they completely missed the point why people continued to play Conquest Small on PC with Battlefield 4. Let's take Sign Crossing from Battlefield 3 as an example. On PC, the map has 5 flags. There's one flag in the middle. It has 2 bridges, and one of the bridges has the middle flag. And this is one of the most horrible Conquest Large experiences I ever had in my life. Whoever controls the middle flag wins the game by throwing more bodies on the flag. And you can't flank, you can't be clever, reviving is pointless because you're gonna get sniped. Don't even think about swimming because you'll be shot before you even can jump into the water. And when you do jump into the water, there's only like 1-2 ways to how to get out of the water, assuming the enemy players are not looking at you already and shoot you while you're swimming slowly. It's a horrible map for Conquest Large, and it's just a clusterfuck of random particles hitting each other with arbitrary scoreboard that determines the winner. It's just not fun. Now compare that to the PlayStation 3 version, it's a completely different experience. 4 flags, easy access to all of them, easy ways to flank, 12 players per team, more focused gunfights, more predictable, which means you can plan ahead, and each side gets a tank. Suddenly, it brings more value to the team, and the tank battles are more important. And that's all because it wasn't about gimmicks. It's not about having 64-player madness or fancy graphics, it's all about making sure the game is actually fun. And then on PlayStation 3, it was extremely fun. And that's the beauty of a Battlefield game. It shines through individual moments, not through a big-ass spectacle while big tower going down, or 128 players colliding like headless chickens just to see some nice particle effects on Frostbite engine. Gimmicks will never carry a game, and one of the big reasons why Battlefield 3 became such a hit is because console version of it was extremely fun. PC or PlayStation 3, you were still playing the same game, just more streamlined. That being said, I'm not saying 64-player experience is automatically bad, or in this case 128 players. But as a game developer, you need to find the right balance that makes that experience fun. Game development is not easy. It's a bitch. Especially when you have loads of politics happening inside game studios that deciding what kind of direction you need to go with the game. But usually when it comes to singular Battlefield game, the content is usually being provided is decent, but the rest of it is kinda unplayable and not fun. In some special cases, a change of environment is all we need to improve those maps. Let's take Lankang Dam from Battlefield 4, probably the most disliked map from the game. And you know what would make that map better? You keep the layout, you keep everything the same, but just change the season from summer to winter. Keep the lake frozen so vehicles can attack the middle flag and remove the jets. Suddenly the map plays completely differently. But majority of times, the bad maps just need to lower their player count or remove objectives or two. That's all. Like Operation Lorca, it's a fantastic map with 24 players and 3 flags, and it still provides you that grindy gameplay that you probably desire. You don't need 64 players to make it better. If you're still watching this video, you're probably thinking that I'm on drugs and think, wow, he thinks Battlefield needs to go smaller and less ambitious. Quite the opposite, I want Battlefield to succeed, but it was proven so many times that over-bloating your game with features that doesn't mean the game will be better. You're literally just adding content just for the sake of content, that it somehow will justify that you pay $60 for the game. We have to change our mentality that $60 price should not mean content, it should mean quality, and content should be added only if it makes the game better. Rainbow Six Siege is a perfect example. It's not a shooter anymore, it's a MOBA at this point. Just because we have so many operators, it's just hard to keep track of everything. Or when you play a single player game from Ubisoft, and all you do is quests that don't make your gaming experience any better, it just artificially increases your gaming time, and for what exactly? And the worst thing is, developers crunch for something that is extremely not needed or important, all because we need to justify paying $60 for a game, when in reality we should be focusing on more important things that make our games more fun. Something smaller is more, and more means more fun. Anyway, thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't, you're more than welcome to leave a dislike and let me know in the comments. And if you did enjoy my ramblings, well, leave a like. Always appreciate. Every interaction you do makes the video go up in the algorithm and more people will watch the video. So, yay! But all is good, it's just for fun anyway. And I hope you all enjoying some video games. And you know, you're having fun and you're being responsible. And on that note, I'll see you guys on the battlefield and enjoy your day.